My name is Dan Roalkvam. I'm the Director of Benefits focusing on franchisees for McDonald's Corporation. I came to the Employer Health Conference today for two reasons. One, to present on some of our strategies around how we've been successful in driving enrollment in our voluntary programs, but also because I wanted to get some perspective on what some of the other employers, both in our space and other industries, were doing around voluntary benefits, and get a little feel for how healthcare reform has impacted some of that as well. So strategies from a voluntary benefit standpoint, sure, absolutely. We have several sort of core philosophies that really drive what we try to do with our voluntary benefit programs. So first of all, we try to essentially have our voluntary benefit programs operate like comprehensive plans with the top chopped off. And we like to call it sort of benefits with training wheels, because the way we see it is that most of our participants, this is their first chance to access health insurance, at least from a private standpoint, coming to them through their employer. So we have an obligation and an opportunity to educate them on how insurance works, and so we want to make sure that what we're giving them and making available to them is truly something that's meaningful and has value, rather than something that, for their first experience with health insurance is not necessarily going to be perceived particularly positively. Well, as a delegate of the conference, there's a lot that I'd like to accomplish. Obviously, networking is very, very important, although with the hectic schedule of preparing for speaking, it's been very difficult to network as much as I'd like, but I've had a chance to meet with a few folks. But, really, it's an opportunity to hear a variety of different speakers, and I really like the way that all four of the sessions are in the same area, so you have a chance to interact with some folks, not just in your sort of core area, but really across a broader spectrum of health insurance. And in particular, for me personally, one of the things that's interesting is to hear, some of the presentations in some of the different areas, and try and find ways that it applies to what we're doing around our programs. Well, we're so big it's hard for anything to move our needle, but certainly the opportunity to be here in a forum where so many people are talking about this gives us a chance to find best practices, to potentially find other opportunities to leverage our size maybe with other organizations to drive not only value but maybe a more effective experience for our participants. Probably what I think I got the most out of was again, the chance to spend some time listening to some of the other presentations, in particular some of the healthcare reform, and not just the things that were geared towards employers, but it's always, I think, instructive to hear some of the training and some of the information that's being directed towards brokers and carriers and consultants, because that helps us get a sense of where certain trends in the marketplace are going to be heading. So it's interesting to hear what some of the education that the brokers and consultants are getting, because then that lets us know what we should start being prepared to be hearing about. In response, essentially, for having the opportunity to come and present our program, doing our case study essentially on how we drove enrollment in our voluntary programs, the Congress was kind enough to provide myself and a colleague with a complimentary conference registration, and so in addition to that, we had access. You heard me talk a lot about the value of being able to dabble in the various different sessions, and it was only because of the VIP process that we were able to do that.